Everyone. My name is Heidi Neltner, and I'm just finished up watching our afternoon keynote. Casey Bell is amazing, and I am so excited that she did a little session for us to get us started and entering into our create and share time. Kind of delaying just a little bit as people join the session. So I see we're up to 16 people, and I am also I have another computer open and I'm kind of watching the live feed just in case people have questions. Can everybody hear me? Because last time I started off on mute and it was just me talking and I don't want to do that again. So living and learning. Okay, it seems like people can hear me. Awesome. All right. Yay. Thanks, guys. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you, and most of the session is going to be kind of an interactive, hopefully interactive time to work on digital interactive notebooks. I did present this morning in the librarian session about digital interactive notebooks, so I wasn't going to give a whole lot of background on them, but just to kind of tell you a little bit about what they are. It's just like an interactive notebook, but it's digital. So that means no glue, no glitter, no coloring and cutting and pasting and all of that. We just take it online where students can collaborate and teachers can give feedback. You can create a digital interactive notebook using a variety of tools. I often use Canva and Google Slides or PowerPoint. You could also use Book Reader or Seesaw. So there are tons of different ways that you can utilize these interactive activities. And hopefully you'll learn something. I'll keep my eye on the question and answer feed and try to respond as we're going. It's kind of a lot to pay attention to. So I'll try to leave some time at the end to kind of skim back through the feed, just in case. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the presentation where I will have a shortened URL and you will be able to force make a copy of that, and then you'll be able to edit and play around with the different skills that I'm talking about. One thing you might want to do is you might want to put this video view into maybe its own tab or its own box. By pressing and dragging it out and kind of make me look like a picture in a picture so you can play while you're also listening and watching what I'm doing. So that might help. Anyway, just a suggestion if you know how to do that. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and screen share and we'll get started. Okay, we're going to get that weird tiled effect. And I just popped open my presentation. Can everybody see that? I'm kind of checking in on the feed to get some feedback to see if you guys can see that. There's a bit.ly at the bottom of this. It is bit.ly/KYGoDigitalHow. And this is going to be the digital notebook that you will get to force copy. And then you'll be able to play around with this. Oh, good, you can see it. All right, if you wanted to pop me out into a different window, if you kind of hold on your tab, you can drag it and pop it into a new area of your screen if you wanted to kind of do a split screen. I'm not gonna do that right now because if I try to do it live, I will mess it up and then I'll fumble around and have to figure it out, you know. So we're just gonna start with this presentation. And I'm going to keep this in just like a side view. I'm not going to go full screen with this because I'm going to be making changes as we go. So hopefully you guys can open up a new tab, new browser, however you want to work that, and grab this bit.ly. It's bit.ly/KYGoDigitalHow, all lowercase. Just not sure if anybody's having trouble with that, but hopefully we'll able to get that. So we're going to learn a couple of different strategies for creating notebooks, digital interactive notebooks inside of Google Slides specifically. You can do these same things in PowerPoint. I actually use PowerPoint more often because we are a one-to-one iPad school, and the PowerPoint app is a little more robust than the Slides app. The kids with the PowerPoint app can do things like draw and add in different add-ins. And with Slides, we just don't have that flexibility. It's also much easier for them to add in their own digital creations. I will show you just like an example of a digital interactive notebook that I made. And the things that we're going to be working through today are on the template slides to this. So this would be a growth mindset interactive notebook, just to kind of give you an overview of how this might look. The interactive notebook works really well for digital learners because you can combine things like video, images, and digital texts. So if I just kind of flip through here, you'll see like as I go, I have videos, and then there's some sort of learning activity that goes with it, which makes it that interactive notebook. This one here is an article. So if I click on this, I can go out to a scholarly article about growth mindset, and then there would be a graphic organizer to fill in. I can do things like category searches or sorts, sorry. I can use add-ins like Flippity, and I'll kind of go over that. Here is a hidden message activity that you might try, and I'm going to show you guys how to do this. And then, of course, there's just our basic graphic organizer. So this is what an interactive notebook might look like, but it'll look like whatever you turn it into. These are just some activities that we're going to try out. So I'm going to flip back over to the how-to area, and these are all the things we're going to learn how to do. So the first skill that we need to practice here is when you create a digital interactive notebook, the first thing you're going to want to do is decide on what size you want it to be. 16:9 is widescreen. It's the size that I'm using right now. The 4:3 is standard. That is perfect for Seesaw or Book Creator. So if you are a Seesaw user, or if you've tried out Book Creator, which is now free in Google Chrome for 40 books, that is the perfect size for that. So 4:3 would be the one to choose. You can also pick paper size. Like if you think you're going to make this great digital notebook and end up printing it because you're not one-to-one, then you might want to go with the 8.5 by 11. And to do that, I have this GIF here. So if later on you can't remember how it works, you can just come to this page and see the GIF. You are just going to go to File, Page Setup, down here at the bottom. And then you can choose between your standard widescreen, that's extra widescreen, or if you press custom, this is where you can turn it into an 8.5 by 11. And that just gives you a paper size. So, I mean, you can see it looks really small on the screen, but if you were going to print it, it would be nice if you were going to use it in Google Classroom. The kids could zoom in and out. And some graphic organizers, some activities just work better on a regular size piece of paper. So that's something to think of. I'm just going to undo that, but that's how you can hack your Google Slides. It's also, by the way, a great way to have students create and publish their own books, because if they have it in that 8.5 by 11, you can export that as a PDF and print it, and students have made their own and published their own book. So just another quick slides hack. I really love Google Slides. All right, so the next thing is to customize the background color. Now, I think this is probably something a lot of people already maybe know how to do, is to create a custom color. And I do want to take a minute to talk about why we would create a custom color. If you've taken digital notes, like I'm a heavy Evernote user, you might find that it's hard to remember where things are in your notes. When I was in high school, I remember, I talked about this morning, I remember taking really hard tests and closing my eyes and visualizing where the information was on the page. I'm not sure how many people do that, you know, but that was just, I was very visual, and I could picture on the page in my notebook where it was and maybe even what doodle was next to it, right? And customizing color in your interactive notebooks helps give that visual marker for otherwise what might be really boring or all look the same. So I would strongly suggest that as a teacher, as you're building notebooks, that you think about different strategies for using color. And this is a really good Marzano strategy too. If you're familiar with Marzano, best practices in digital learning, they do talk about using different colors for things. So if you're going to make a graphic organizer, you might make all your graphic organizers one color, or you might make certain content a color. And to customize that background color, I'm just going to switch here down to 5. I'm just going to click on background up here at the top bar, and I'm going to choose color. You can do different gradient fills. You can just pick from the like standard colors, or you can get into custom colors, which is kind of fun, and even change out your transparency of the color if you needed to. So that would just be something to consider as you are building out your notebooks, is what kind of visual cues are you going to give your students? And so just really super simple something to do. I'm going to change that to purple for our purple cows out there. All right, next activity. This is where we start getting into some big activities. And the biggest thing that I do with digital interactive notebooks is I create graphic organizers. I love graphic organizers. I'm a huge Marzano fan. I already mentioned Marzano. And what you'll find is that if you can help students organize their thinking through content, through graphic organizers, that it's going to help them structure their own learning. What I would suggest is in the beginning that you build out graphic organizers for students to use, and then depending on the age of your students, gradually release them over to creating their own graphic organizers. To create a graphic organizer, you're just going to use shapes. It's super easy. I'm going to go back here to slide 5. You just grab your little shape icon up here on your top toolbar. You're going to click on shapes. I often use the rounded rectangle. So rounded rectangle is a good one to use. Okay, you can change the thickness of that border to make it stand out if you need to. It's typically white, but you can change the color if you want. For example, if you're making a Venn diagram, the Venn diagram is just 2 circles, but your circles really need to be transparent to see the actual Venn diagram part. So what I would do is I would turn this transparent. So purple might not be the best for a Venn diagram. And then you can just Command C, Command V, and paste that, and you've got your Venn diagram. And then when you double tap inside of it, it puts the writing. You can go ahead and write directly in there. But you might have to, change that background. So that would be a Venn diagram. Another shape that I find really helpful when I'm building out graphic organizers are the arrows. So if I go back to my shapes and I choose arrows, the arrow that I really like to use in these graphic organizers is this one that's like a pentagon shape, it said. So I just click here and draw it out. This is awesome for cause and effect. You would put your causes here, and then you might have, I just go back to my other shapes and I'll draw a little rectangle here. So great cause and effect organizer. So cause is the arrow, and then the effect is your square. So super simple, very easy, just using basic shapes. You can get even cuter with call outs, and they have little blasts, little speech bubbles, little thought bubbles if you want them to think about stuff. So these are all editable. They just click and type and go. So super easy way to create your graphic organizers. All right, so if I just take a break real quick and check in on the conversation, it says, can you interact with digital interactive notebooks, like students comment on other students? Absolutely. So to do that, your students would just share their work with another student. by pressing that share button, and they could type in specific people in class. If you assign this through Google Classroom or an LMS like Schoology, you will be able to check in on the work, and you can press here on the comments, and then you would be able to comment on the student's work, and it would send them a message saying that they had a comment, and you could then kind of have a conversation inside the notes. So it's another really big benefit for making a digital interactive notebook. So hopefully I answered that okay. All right, so just kind of moving on here. We created our basic graphic organizer, and I wanted you guys to see that you can further customize these graphic organizers to make them really like teacher paid teacher quality cute. I am not very good at design, so I always feel embarrassed when I see teacher paid teacher kind of stuff, but you can do this right here in slides. If I come down here to slide 8, see how I've changed out some of the borders? If I click on the shape, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here next to the border weight. So I've already shown you that you can change the border weight. And then right next to that, there's border dash. And you can change this. So I'm just going to change it to dots and make it look different, make it stand out. So maybe students are doing different tasks in each block, but all the blocks look the same. You might give them the visual cue of changing what that outline looks like. You can also change your fonts. I'm not very good at fonts myself, but if you highlight the font and come up here to the font area in the toolbar, I'm just going to click here. And I just discovered this a couple months ago. I'm probably really late to the game, but there's more fonts. And if you click more fonts, they have all these other ones that aren't like your traditional one, like Indie Flower is kind of fun. It looks like handwriting. Or let me scroll down just a little bit. I like this one here. If you're teaching primary students, it's got the A that doesn't look like a weird A. You know, kindergartner saw the fancy A. I don't even know how else to explain it. And they're like, what letter is that? And so using those extra fonts might make text more readable, especially for our youngest students. So that's just, you know, another way that you can customize the look of your work here. Okay. So moving on, I'm going to get down to some of these other activities. Oh, one thing that I often do is I download when I make a graphic organizer. I'm always worried that the kids are going to delete pieces. So what I do to kind of keep that from happening is I download that slide as an image and then I reinsert it. It's a little type A, I'm sure, but what I do is I just go to File, okay, and then you're going to do Download As, and I just download it as a JPEG, and that's going to just pop right into my downloads. Okay, so I'm saving that. Oh, replacing, and then I just go and change the background to a photo by going to Image, Choose. If you put it in your Google Drive, you'll already have it, or you can choose an image to upload. So I am going to, not sure if I'm going to find this. I may have to just insert a blank one because I kind of want to give it a quick over, but here we go. I just upload that then right into my presentation. And then there's no moving, like the kids can't delete those individual things. And what I do when I assign it is I just tell them to insert a text box and resize it as needed and just type their info then. If I'm feeling really like I have time or whatever, then I might go in and add all the text boxes for them depending on their age. But that's a quick way or quick hack to keep them from deleting individual elements of that. Okay. So I hope that answers Angela's question about how do I lock the shape so students can type in the boxes. That's the way I do it. If you're working in another tool like Book Reader, you can actually lock individual shapes. But here I just put the whole thing as the background. All right. So video, 21st century learners learn by video, you know, Khan Academy, YouTube, they go looking for video first. And you can really capitalize on that visual video need for students by using video in your interactive notebooks. So what I do is I just go, I create a graphic organizer first to go with the video, because you want them to watch the video with intention. You don't just want to have the video there. They should be reflecting on what they're learning. So you might have them write up a reflection on the side, or identify the three big ideas, or listen for something important to what you're covering in class. So to insert the video, I'm sure you guys already know this. You just go to video, right? And then you can search right here in the box. So this little example I was putting together was on growth mindset. And I might look for the TED Talk that was done on growth mindset. Not sure if this one's it. Maybe here's a 10-minute video. Hopefully I've already previewed that. I'm gonna pop that video in. For your older students, if it's like a super long video, you can click here on those video options, and you can do a custom start and stop time, so that maybe they don't have to watch the whole video to get the point. But they're gonna watch part of it and then write down their big ideas there. And then if you've assigned this through Google Classroom or something like Schoology, you can then come in and give them feedback on whether or not they actually got the main ideas that you expected them to get. As a gradual release over into using this with students, especially as students get older, you might challenge them to go out and find their own video about a topic. So if you're teaching, for example, the respiratory system or something, you might say, okay, find a video that connects with you, that hits the main ideas, and put it in your notebook so that you can reference it later when you're studying. So it's a great way to collect all kinds of information. Can you embed? So ViewPure videos, I would say that you could just put the link. You could link it to a ViewPure. I'm not sure that you could embed it. Doing this kind of makes it into ViewPure, because you eliminate all that extra stuff on the side in the comments, and it's just the video. In fact, it doesn't even like auto play into a next video. So that could be a good workaround instead of the ViewPure, if that helps. That was Sarah who asked that. So yeah, use video. Students, that's how they learn. Capitalize on that. The other thing you could do in your interactive notebook is challenge students to make their own videos and upload their own videos to share their content, share what they're learning. Especially if they're doing a notebook with a group, it might be a good idea for them to put in, like, explain it in a couple of different ways. Like maybe they're gonna have 3 or 4 different ways of explaining something, and then you might get more content for your class. So for sure, let the kids be the creators on those. All right, so I talked about custom start and stop times. The other thing I don't want to miss is using digital text. One thing I've noticed when I'm working with kids is that, especially if they're reading online, they just read, or it looks like they're just reading, they're scrolling, right? So recent research is showing that when we scan print text, we scan in a Z pattern, which means we're always hitting the right side of our page. When we skim digital text, we skim in an F pattern, which means that we could be missing large chunks of content. So slowing kids down and having them read with intention is really important. So if we look at slide 16, this is just like Cornell notes. You know, they have the title of the piece that they're reading. They're going to identify the main points. They're going to do bulleted notes. And then at the bottom, maybe summary or questions for further consideration. And what you do is you just find an article, or if you're turning it over to the students, have them find the article, and they would link it to this spot. And it's going to make them read with intention and slow down their reading. And that's really important in the digital age, that we model for students how to read digital texts. So use video, but don't forget those rich digital media things that students can be using. You might even say, like, go to your textbook, and in that little yellow box that say, you know, in your textbook, read these things. And then they could take pictures and insert pictures here. There's all kinds of fun print activities and digital activities students can do and add to their textbooks. But, you know, have them use pictures, have them annotate, have them take notes. I'm like running out of time because we only have until 1:25. A couple others here. You know, hopefully you've got this notebook. The hidden text one is just silly. I saw this a couple months ago, but it could be fun to like hide information inside of a notebook. And what you do is you layer your elements. So right now I have this image. You know, kids are really into very rich images, and I hid a message in here. So you could do this for spelling words, for grammar lesson. You know, if you were going to put grammar hints into a notebook. And what they do is they drag the little viewfinder around the page and find the hidden text. And all this is text that is in the same color as the background, and another shape that is actually moved to the back. So when I right click on my shape, I just have to put order, and I put send to back, and then it's going to be behind the text, so that when I put it behind that hidden text, it pops up. Now, I wouldn't use this every day, but it could be a fun way to hide answers for kids, you know? So just something kind of fun. I saw this on people doing it on Seesaw, and I just got a kick out of that. Another one, this is one that you're going to have to go into Flippity. Flippity is an add-on for actually Sheets. And when you go into your add-ons, you download Flippity. They have a random name picker, and actually all kinds of things that might be fun for your interactive notebooks. But with the random name picker, if I click here, this would be a good way for like a formative assessment. So if you're learning a topic like growth mindset, you might say, okay, spin the wheel and then make an Adobe post that shows me what you've learned about growth mindset. And then they would insert that into their notebook. And you could check in on that work and see how they're doing with that. So that's kind of a fun one, Flippity. Let's see, category sorts, you know, just create little categories and then have the kids drag things. This would be good for sight words, for all kinds of things. So I have only 2 minutes. Sorry, y'all. The last few slides here are all slides that deal with like other tools you might use. I use Canva a lot for creating these notebooks. Here on slide 25, I have, there's a color palette generator, Canva colors, font combination tools. If you're real into fonts, I am a horrible hack when it comes to fonts and color. So it's nice to be able to use their tool and find a good matching font for your notebooks if you want them to look really pretty. So Brandon Grotesque goes with Merriweather. Who knew? I never would have put those together or guessed those. They also have tons of tutorials. If you are not on Canva yet, like if you do anything today, sign up for Canva. It's amazing. Other resources I have here for you are, I have a couple presentations. I have a way for you to do it with Book Creator to create these interactive notebooks, and that's a ton of resources here, and you could probably just spend time going through that. I know we only have like 1 minute left. I've been trying to like catch questions as they go. Does anybody have any questions that I missed and you want to pop them into the chat, and I'll try to answer those. Sorry, I talked so fast. I wanted to make sure that I could get in as much as I could. before. So we might go just a minute over as I wait to see if anybody has any other questions. Right. Well, I would love it if you guys connected with me. If you make an interactive notebook, share it, please. Share it with the hashtag KYGoDigital. Tag me at Heidi Nelt. I'm on Twitter. You can email me to my Fort Thomas email. It's just heidi.neltner@fortthomas.kyschools.us. I'm happy to share anything I have. So if I've got something and you're looking for it and you think I might have it, email me. I'll send it your way. And yeah, so have fun today and go out and make something. Thanks, you guys. So sorry it went so fast. I'm presenting next on digital storytelling. So find me on that if you're looking for some fun ways to engage kids in writing. See you guys later.